Love is my decision.
Like the lines for the intro.
We made it introduce me to this. Go. Whenever you're ready. Go.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give up my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. Once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to give up my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. Once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now.
Yeah.
You hear me now?
Yep.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Linda, and it's great to see you all here today, both here in the building. And I feel like the romper room lady. Remember when we were kids, if you're old enough, remember the romper room? I see Linda at home and Julie at home. And so for all of you at home, welcome also. I never understood why my name didn't get in there. Like, why doesn't she see me, Linda? But I guess you'd have to have your parents put your name in and then send it to the romper room people so that they would see you at home. So sometimes in our welcome, the chairperson can share some inspiration if you have one. And I'm going to share one that was sort of hard-earned. At 2:00 this morning, I woke up and was feeling very vulnerable. And I had this thought that this is not a pretty thought. So let me just warn you that every human I've known has let me down. And that I have let every human I know down. So I didn't sleep very well with that thought. And in the morning, Tom's drinking his coffee and I'm pouring myself a cup of coffee. And I told Tom about this. And he goes, Eckhart Tolle says that we love the idea of a person. And so then if I were to restate that with that wisdom, that would mean that every idea I have had of every person, not every idea, but my idea of every person, my ideal of every person has let me down. And my ideal of myself has let me down. And that's a lot easier to work with than, there's something I can work with, is what goes on in my head about my ideas of people. So with that, I think we'll move into our service. Let's see. Our vision, if you would like to say this aloud with me, a world powerfully transformed through shared spiritual awakening. Our mission: advancing the movement of spiritual awakening and transformation through unity, a positive path for spiritual living. And our values: abundance, acceptance, community, diversity, integrity, joy, and love. And we celebrate our children. Unity of Appleton sees the divinity in all children and nurtures their unfolding spirituality. And our daily word is peace, and I am a peaceful presence to all. Peace in the world begins with me. I consider it a sacred responsibility to respond to all people and circumstances peacefully. I forgive myself for those moments I am less than peaceful and quickly return to the peace of God in my heart. I am a living expression of God, just as all people are. My tranquil bearing inspires peacefulness wherever I go and everyone I meet. Each day I join like-minded people everywhere in a renewed commitment to be a presence of peace. I give thanks that as each of us communicates God's love in our unique ways, peace and harmony are established in individuals, families, communities, and among nations throughout the world. And from Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11, put things in order. Listen to my appeal. Agree with one another. Live in peace, and the God of love and peace will be with you. Thank you. We have some music, I believe.
Yeah.
If I could save time in a bottle, the first thing that I'd like to do is to save every day as my memories start fading away. I would share them like new. If I believe days last forever, and words could make wishes come true, I would love every day like a treasure, and then I trust God is guiding me through. So there never seems to be enough time to do the things God leads you to once you find them. I've felt God's love enough to know this peace is what I want to go through time with. If I know that I am forever, and dreams that will really come true, so that love is the way through eternity, starting today. God is guiding me through. So there never seems to be enough time to do the thing God leads you to once you find them. I felt God's love enough to know this peace is what I want to go through time with.
Isn't it great to have a music team back? And they have a new name, correct?
Synchronicity.
Yeah.
Synchronicity.
Love it.
Perfect.
We'll do the official unveiling in November with our new music month.
All right.
Yeah.
Wrong way. There we go. Well, today I'm here to talk with you about making friends with adversity. Glossophobia. That's the fear of public speaking. 77% of the population has this, and I am one of them. Now, the old adage is to picture the audience naked, but thanks, but no thanks. You're safe from that. Instead, I go by what I know. This is a place of love, acceptance, enthusiasm, and peace. So even if my words don't flow the way I want, or my ideas don't resonate with some of you, I know that all is well. How did I end up volunteering to speak with you this morning? Well, it was a surprise to me when I offered to share these thoughts. This is an example of the universe conspiring behind the scenes to bring events to fruition. You see, I had been concerned that we wouldn't be able to find a speaker for today. Cindy has been working tirelessly to arrange for guest speakers, but a couple of weeks ago hadn't found one for this morning. I knew I couldn't do it as John and I had plans for this morning and wouldn't be available. And I didn't think I had anything to say anyway. But I intentionally set aside my apprehension about today, knowing that all was in divine order. I told John that I was excited to see who the speaker would be, and lo and behold, it's me. Here's how it all started. A few weeks ago, I had a brief conversation with Bill about one of the quotes that was presented. It really changed my perspective on acceptance. It was this quote by Eckhart Tolle. Whatever the present moment contains, accept it as if you had chosen it. Always work with it, not against it. Make it your friend and ally, not your enemy. This will miraculously transform your whole life. We've talked before about everything in our lives happening for a reason, but what struck me was the concept of making friends with whatever comes our way. That was a really new idea for me. Then, in one of our after the message discussions, I mentioned its impact on my thinking. But it was a week later when I had a conversation with Beverly that made all the difference. She told me that she had been trying to use that thought in a difficult situation. I had said earlier that the idea was profound, but I hadn't even tried putting it into practice despite some hard things that I was going through. That conversation with Beverly started me on a deeper dive into the concept of making friends with adversity. What does it mean? And how can I make friends with challenging situations? My thoughts started to flow, my schedule miraculously opened up, and here I am. The difference between acceptance and making something a friend was really profound to me. I can accept a situation or feeling that I don't like, but can I make it my friend? Can you? Let's find out how we can and why we might want to. First, some definitions. According to the Oxford Dictionary, acceptance is a willingness to tolerate a difficult or unpleasant situation, a kind of like, okay, if I have to, I will attitude, like when my mom would tell me to clean my room as a child or even as a teenager. And a friend, of course, is someone that you know and with whom you have a bond of mutual affection, an ally, someone who is trustworthy, kind, honest, helpful, knows what you need, has your back. Now I want you to close your eyes and think of a dear friend or loved one. Think of the person that puts a big smile on your face when you see them. Someone that you embrace wholeheartedly with love and joy. Do you have that person in mind? Think of them walking up to your door. How do you welcome that friend? With open arms? Do you say, come on in? Let's keep each other company? Well, that's what we're talking about here, making that kind of friend with our challenges. You can open your eyes and we'll explore. When you think about adversity, in reality, it isn't the situation that makes us uncomfortable, it's the accompanying emotions. And here's a great example. When I asked Linda last week how she felt before going up to give her talk, she said, excited. I had the same conversation with Christy when she spoke a few weeks ago. She was confident and calm. Apparently, they are not part of the group of people who have glossophobia, whose hearts race and palms sweat at the thought of standing before a group and presenting ideas. It's the same situation, but different feelings. So how we learn to welcome those emotions in the present moment is really the challenge that we have. It sounds like a lot of work. Is it even possible? Do I really want to? What's in it for me? What's in it for you? Why should we befriend those situations from which tough emotions arise? The 13th century mystic Rumi shared his thoughts in his poem, The Guest House. And we've heard this before, but I'll read it again. The guest house. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. In his book, Seed of the Soul, Gary Zukav talks about trusting your experiences this way. Within each experience of pain or negativity is the opportunity to challenge the perception that lies beneath it, the fear that lies beneath it, and to choose to learn with wisdom. The fear will not vanish immediately, but will disintegrate as you work with courage. When fear ceases to scare you, it cannot stay. And he put it this way in a conversation with Oprah. All of your experiences and emotions are there for a reason, your spiritual growth. In essence, these authors are saying to be grateful in all circumstances because of the opportunities they bring for inner awakening to the truth of who we are and the opening of ourselves to our own Christ consciousness. Okay, so we have an idea why to make friends with adversity, but how? First, I'll tell you what not to do. Don't resist your emotions. We often label emotions as negative or positive, and we push back against the ones that make us uncomfortable. Anybody done that? Yeah. Because I don't like feeling angry or sad or afraid. I don't like feeling impatient or upset. I'm guessing you don't either. But don't resist. Those emotions are here for a reason. The second thing is stop trying to figure out what it all means or what the situation is trying to teach you at the time it's occurring. As spiritual seekers, we realize that there could be something to learn from life events, something that would help us grow. But if I think about what I'm supposed to learn while it's happening, I miss the depth of the experience. I remove myself from the emotions to the safe place of my thoughts. Of course, later we can always look back and realize the lessons we've learned and seen how we've grown. And like I said, that comes later. And by the way, is that how we want to treat our friends? Resisting what they have to offer and thinking about something else while we stay in our safe place? Of course not. Now for what to do when those uncomfortable feelings arise. I'll give you an example, which I'll go through pretty quickly, and then we'll do it together more slowly. Okay, so if the emotion is bubbling up, stop and pause and take a breath. Notice what you are feeling and name it. For instance, anxiety. Number 3, accept it. The first unity principle is God is the source and creator of all. God is good and present everywhere. God, love, spirit, is present with you and in you in whatever you are experiencing. 4, welcome it. I could say to anxiety, hello, come sit on this chair with me, old friend. Let's do this together. And then I would pause and pay attention to how I'm feeling. So we're going to practice this now. Think of a situation that brings up tough emotions. You can start with something small or something more significant. You've got one? Okay, begin. Step 1, just pause. Step 2, notice the emotion and name it, either in your mind or even softly aloud. Step 3, accept it. Know that it is here for a reason. Step 4, welcome it. In your mind or softly aloud, talk to it as a friend. Step 5, breathe into it and notice how you feel now. Let's all take a breath together. How did that feel? Good? A little weird? That's okay. Of course, you don't have to actually speak to your emotions, although I find it to be helpful. You could journal or you could sit in silence. Whatever you find that works for you, to see that feeling and situation as a friend and an ally, to begin to trust whatever comes your way, do that. This practice takes practice. I've only been using this technique for a couple of weeks. Sometimes it's easier and sometimes it's hard to welcome certain situations. The other day, I had worked on this talk for a long time, getting my thoughts in order, the words just right, and typing them out. And I was ready to print it when I began to panic because I couldn't find it. I thought I saved it, and then I thought, uh-oh, it's been deleted, and I would have to write the whole thing again. I was not happy. And of course, the irony, I didn't, I accepted the irony of the fact that I was writing about making friends with adversity when this was going on. So I tried to take my own advice. I got stuck at step 3, acceptance. But that's okay. And luckily for me, it appeared in a different place than I had expected. So I found it. Didn't have to redo it. But what I'm trying to say is, it is a practice and we all will just do the best we can. There have been other times though, when this approach has been really helpful. I have indeed spoken aloud to my feelings. The other day, I welcomed anger and sadness to join me on the couch. After sitting together for a few moments, what did I find? Peace, gratitude, understanding, and an openness to Spirit's inspiration. I am sure I haven't heard the last from anger and sadness, even regarding that same situation. But I know that the more I welcome them with open arms, the less impact they will have, and the more loving, patient, and happy I will be. How will you be changed? When you welcome all that life has to offer, your true self, your Christ consciousness rises within you, and you return to who you really are. And that is when the best part happens, because that is when you can shine your light and begin to transform the world. Thank you.
We did our music already.
Oh, I thought there was one on each
No.
side.
Nope.
Oh, okay. And I
We're
just
still
wanted-
figuring this out, guys, sorry.
That's okay. Well, we just love you guys and we want more.
More.
Is it really announcements already? Okay. Announcements. Silent Unity. The Worldwide Prayer Ministry of Unity responds to prayer requests via telephone. And I've used them myself numerous times, and I see some heads nodding here. So there's our telephone number, 816-969-2000. And that's going to get you someone at Unity Village, where they've had a prayer ministry 24 hours a day for how many years? Like a lot of years. Since 100 years? Plus. So in the sacred space of the Prayer Vigil Chapel, located beneath the light beaming from the cupola of the Silent Unity building at Unity Village, all prayer requests are enfolded in prayer. Here, someone is praying 24 hours a day, praying as a kindred spirit and consciousness of oneness with God. And you can also find them at unity.org/prayer. We are looking for a host for our guest speaker. So a house host, someone to put them up for the night. Is
Yeah,
that
because
it?
they're coming from a distance.
Okay.
Yeah.
One person, not two people, but one
Right,
person.
it depends on the speaker.
So is that just Saturday night?
Okay, December 12th. Okay, thank you.
And maybe talk to Cindy if that's something that you'd be willing to do.
And and any other announcements? And then I wanted to thank Carrie Polakowski, our board president, for speaking this morning. And I really appreciated hearing your words. And I love the visuals. I've always been a picture person. I just posted my kindergarten report card on the Unity members page. And well, you didn't have to start reading it in kindergarten, but when we did have to start reading, Dick, Jane runs and all of that stuff, I'm like, where are the pictures? So I really thank you for your talk this morning. Your global-phobia, what was that called?
Glossophobia.
Glossophobia. You did it anyway. Okay, here's our.
Would you remove your mask, please?
Oh, sorry. I still work in healthcare, so I get pretty accustomed to wearing that thing all the time. Okay. But, so our affirmation of prosperity. Unity of Appleton is alive with the energy of spirit in the flow of divine abundance and radiant with unlimited possibilities. And our celebration of giving and receiving. Divine love in and through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I joyfully give and willingly receive. I give in love and I trust God as my source. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We offer these gifts as symbols of the endless blessings bestowed upon us all. These offerings radiate the awesome light and love within us, and they spread that light and love throughout all creation. So be it. Thank you, guys. And our prayer for protection. Okay. If you'd like to say this with me. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
I am the light of God, I am the love of God, I am the power of God, I am the presence of God, wherever I am, God is. You are the light of God, you are the love of God, you are the power of God, you are the presence of God, wherever you are, God is. We are the light of God, we are the love of God, we are the power of God, we are the presence of God, wherever we are, God is.
Guys.
Hey.